Hey guys, I'm Naya and welcome back to the channel. For today's video, we're gonna be doing the YCS breakdown. So the first YCS happened after 2 years and we have a couple of things to cover. We have the breakdown, we have a couple deck lists, some events from the finals, and also what that actually means for the meta moving forward. With that being said, first of all, I would like to encourage you to subscribe because a lot of you still have not subscribed, and I would love for you to be part of this community. Also, let me know what you think of the actual YCS, if you were there, how you think it was run, how did you do, what you think of the decks, the representation, and everything else that happened. Now let's go ahead and get started. First of all, here we have in front of us the top 32 YCS breakdown. A couple things are quite standard. The big representation of prank kits, which took, I think, 10 places from the top 32, so about a third. We also have Tiny Sword Soul, so the pure version. And comparing it to the base, it's quite interesting to me actually that the pure one was represented more. And then we have Outlich. Now Outlich has been gaining a lot of popularity and the Cyberse Outlich build is very popular overall. Out of 5, 2 piloted the pure Outlich version and 3 piloted Cyberse, but only 1 of the Cyberse players made it to top 16. So yeah, it's basically, you know, kind of the same when it comes to builds, but in my opinion, the Cyberse one is better. So it really took me by surprise seeing how actually the pure one made it to the finals. And then looking at Fluanderies, it was quite obvious it's going to be up there. And then we have Dogmatica, Striker, Despia, and Dragon Link. All of the decks are quite good, but for some of them, actually only Dragon Link sort of makes sense to be in the top cut. It's a nice deck, but it's, you know, worse in terms of just being a combo deck. It's quite fragile. But Dogmatica with a very interesting build that we will cover. Sky Striker and Despia are, they're interesting. You know, the fact they made it is, you know, like props to the players, honestly, because it's not the first deck that will come to your mind if you think about the top 32 breakdown of the YCS. It's not that they're bad, but the other ones, the more represented ones, are just better. So looking at top 16, the conversion rate for those decks was actually really good. Only Dragon Link fell out, but the other players actually made it with their unique strategies. And prank kits also, obviously, we have Outlich, Swordso, and Flunder. But yeah, the Synchro Adventure is just, it's not really performing as much as massively as I thought it was going to. So yeah, that's top 16 for you. And then we have top 8. So we have 5 different decks in top 8, which is really nice for top 8 of a YCS. We have Andres Torres with Despia, and he's of course a renowned player, so it only makes sense for someone of his caliber to pilot Despia to the top 8, because Despia is not exactly, even before the structure deck, it's not something you would think of just doing that well. And then we have a couple prank kits. We have Outlich, we have Flunder, and we have Swordso. Going over a couple builds, Swordso is quite standard and basic, nothing really that interesting or out of the ordinary, except maybe Cherries in the extra deck, which is a cool call. And then we have prank kits. So the first place prank kit list, I looked at it before making this video, and it's quite not exactly unconventional. But yeah, it's only 2 of each prank kit. It's a couple bricks in the 40 card build. So if that worked out for him, which obviously it did since he won, then that's cool. But it still seems a bit, yeah, I guess different. We have 2 Link Spider and 2 Anaconda in the extra deck. And this is a recurring theme we will see when it comes to the prank kits builds. Then we have a couple Sander, Flunder stuff, Dark Ruler in the main deck. Also Sword, so quite basic again. Then we have that Dogmatica build that I mentioned before, and it has Shaddolls. It's heavily based on Shaddolls, and for the most part, Shaddolls were considered quite a brick when it comes to the IDS strategy. But here you just run Dogmatica with Shaddolls, and of course Shadow Fusion is still a strong card. It's really not something people would lean to though, so yeah, it's very interesting that this deck made it as far as it did. Then we have the other prank kit version, which is obviously the one with Illusion of Chaos and Magician Souls. We also see Parallel Exceed at 2, which I think is a really cool tech. Crossout, making its appearance here in the main deck actually. And then we have 2 Anaconda again and Dark. Dark is an awesome card, like legit you can steal so many things, it's unbelievable. Flounder again. Then we have more Prank It with Small World this time around. Even more Prank It with Small World. Then we have Swordso again, Talents in the main deck. And then we have Cyber's Outledge. So this deck looks very cool to me overall. And yeah, I like the fact that Outledge is performing. Like, I like this strategy. But yeah. Then we have Despia, and it's interesting. It has Malicious, it has the Patchwork and Edge Imp techs, obviously the Super Poly, and the Shared Rights in the side deck. And yeah, I mean, we're gonna see how Despia changes after the structure deck, but if you're trying to pick it up before, if you already have it, I guess this is a version you can run. More Outledge. And Sky Striker. So this build, the most important card of this build, I think, is Offerings to the Doomed. Yeah, basically it just pops. It's a quick play spell that pops, and it's great against Prank Hits. And I think it's a really, really neat tech. And also Magical Spring, which is obviously nice because you can draw, but also it protects Scythe, so it doesn't get popped. You don't get locked out of the extra deck. And I think this is such a smart decision to play this. Then we have Outledge. We have the top 16 Outledge, and it's just the purest version you can think of. It's actually something I have covered in my budget decks video if you want to check that out. This person obviously is running Prosperity as well, but I think you can get away with only Extravagance if you want. Overall, standard trap build. More Prank Hits. And Dragon Link. So I like this build. I think it's such a nice build. It's very clean, very to the point, you know. It has Gamma, which I think is very strong in this deck in particular. Your standard spells, hand traps, yeah, it's a nice Dragon Link build. So yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to the deck lists. Everything we have seen so far is quite standard when it comes to the metagame, but a couple interesting techs here and there. And I guess I would like to move back to the winning deck list, because I want to address a couple things that happened in the finals. So we have all seen some things, we have seen a lot of memes, we have just seen stuff happening, and we have heard some allegations. So yeah, a couple things came to light in terms of some illegal plays not really being illegal according to people and according to, I guess, further investigation by the internet. So yeah, some plays, although, were not really accounted for. So only this person knows, of course, if he cheated. If he did, it's really lame. It sucks. And the only other thing I would want to stress out is that us as a community, I think it's cool that we address that, and I think it's cool that we try to hold people accountable, because overall cheating is just lame. Like, it's a trading card game. You're not supposed to do that. It's so mind-boggling to me how some people actually decide to do it, and I'm not accusing this person at all. I'm just saying that a couple things were said, and if it really did happen, I guess this person is going to have to deal with it and live with it. And yeah, us as a community, like I said, it's cool that we address that. It's cool that we are against it and we call people out. However, sometimes people like to jump to conclusions very fast, which is also not okay. So yeah, I think we need to sometimes tone that down a little bit. But that's about it from me when it comes to the, I guess, cheating allegations. Overall, a couple things I would want to point out before we wrap this video up. Prank Hits is the most dominant deck of the meta, and Based, to my surprise, basically didn't do that well as I imagined it is going to. So there's that for you. Like, we have found ourselves in the meta of Brave, and it's just kind of unavoidable. Almost every single deck can run Brave, and at this point, it's just a matter of which deck you pick up and the build you make with it. So if you like Brave, this is cool. I'm a fan of the engine because it's really, really strong, but I can see how it can seem toxic to some people. So I guess I would just advise everyone to really I guess, decide how you want to approach this meta, which deck you want to pick up, how you want to go about doing things, because there are still budget options, there are still options without Brave, and you can look into all of that. But for the first YCS after 2 years, I think it was quite a success, and even though there's a lot of complaints about the finals, I guess it's just something that comes together with the game that we play. So yeah, with that being said, that's pretty much it. If you liked the video, make sure to like it, give me a sub, check out all of the social media, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.